Alright, so welcome to the KubeWord Network SIG meeting. Please add your names in the attendee section. I'll paste the link in the chat. And we'll get started. So usually we start with the agenda and go over to the open floor. But since we have a guest today, Binat, do you want to start with your action item first?
Well, not sure what this open floor was for, but I
That's
understood
fine.
that it was just for open discussion. It was my first time attending this meeting, so yeah, not sure if it's better, yes, to leave this for if just in case we have some time left, since it's just some discussion. I just wanted to have, if this was the place to have it, regarding one patch that I'm working on, which I will be probably sending soon. But yeah, so just
Yeah, sure.
technical discussion. We can have it later if we have some time, and it's completely fine.
Yeah, sure. You can add your patch here and then we can visit it. Okay, I will start with the webs. The first one we had is, well, I'll try to open it. Okay, for this one we had like a PR and then we decided we wanted a web so that everyone has an idea of what's going on. And this is the one that you wanted to discuss or you wanted to discuss something else?
This is one that I want to discuss. The one I just wrote on the open floor was just another one that I had in mind that I'm working on just meanwhile.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was asked just to join this meeting just to talk about this VEP, um, which is just so you all of you know, each is extending the Don't Worry API. Maybe not the best way possible, but yet the most practical way I found. And it's just extending the Downward API that network binding plugins are using for the device info to be shared with the sidecar container that does that kind of domain configuration stuff. And it's adding the MAC address of the interface to the network info struct, just so it can be shared with the sidecar. I'm doing this. I know I could be using Cube MacPool, and that the MAC address will be just added into the domain, and I could just parse it from there. But the problem is that this is for a specific use case of VDPA devices, which the way they are implemented and provisioned in OpenShift makes it a little bit hard to configure the MAC address once the device was created by the SRIUV operator. So one of the ideas we had was just passing the MAC address, just in case the Cube MacPool is not there and it's not adding any MAC address, which is random and wouldn't work at the moment either. But if Cube MacPool is not there, we don't have MAC address information, so we cannot assign the correct MAC address to the VDPA device in the libvirt domain XML. So libvirt will come up with a random MAC address, which will make the guest network just not work. So one of the fixes we found was just, well, adding this little patch. Well, little, that's relative, but adding the MAC address to the network info, so it's shared with the sidecar, and then sidecar has information about the MAC address and can configure the domain XML correctly. There are some open discussions there about the alternatives that I would like to have with whoever that might be interested, and who might be. I will be glad from to hear from any of you about the um, the approach, and any alternatives, since that there could be many of them. But yeah.
Yes, Oren?
First of all, thank you for joining, and also thank you for posting this web. I had a question with regards to the use case in general. If you remember, we had an offline discussion about some issues that occur during migration due to the nature of VDPA devices. I was wondering if you were willing to extend this web to include the entire discussion about VDPA in general.
Mm, it wasn't the idea initially. That wasn't the idea initially. The idea for this BEP was just to add that little thing about the market trust here. Um, I remember we were talking about the live migration stuff, but actually, if we are interested in the live migration, we should be using QBackball just to be able to have the same MAC address in both destination and source. And for that, we will need proper and further modifications of um, not QBert, but probably the CNI, um, or creating or writing a new CNI for BDPA devices that are actually able to modify the MAC address of the device according to what CubeMacBo and so the um, BM spec is saying. So for that use case, I think that it's not much a QBert issue, but a CNI issue that we are having on the BDPA side.
Yeah, I meant mostly, for completeness, so people will get the entire picture of why do we need to supply MAC addresses and what will happen during migration. Like, it is one of the first questions that people will ask: what happens during migration?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Mm, yeah. The thing that I was thinking of was that QBackball is not deployed by default when you are deploying QBird in a cluster, if I remember correctly, right?
Right.
So in the default scenario, even if live migration isn't possible, then you cannot use PDPA devices for the default scenario. I mean, like, I'm not sure if that's practical or not, but
By the way, if I remember correctly, I think that we can limit migration for VMs using specific network binding plugins. I think that if you don't specify some field in the KubeVirt CR, then the VM is automatically non-migratable.
that's it. Yeah, I know. So we could use that just to know that for now VDPA devices cannot be migrated, but we would still have the issue of the MAC address thing if we are not using good MacBook, because we would just get like a random one. So even if it's not live migratable, we need that MAC address information to get into the Liber domain XML.
Yes, if it is possible to please mention it like that, that for now VDPA has preliminary issues that it needs to solve in order to migrate, and currently it is not possible to migrate
Okay, got it.
VMs using the VDPA. Thank you.
Okay, got it. I will do. Thank you.
Thank you. I've added a note here just for the action item. And moving on to the next VIP. Neil, do you want to talk about it? So we had a couple of long discussions, and it's on its way to be merged. But do you want to talk about it?
Do you hear me?
Hmm.
Yeah. Where's the Zoom window? Yeah, so this web talks about the decoupling the access to network attachment definition to the CR from Vert controller. And it suggests using a tool, an external operator webhook called Network Resources Injector that will inject the resource out of the network attachment definition to the pod resource request instead of doing it in the code. And yeah, it's been reviewed by yourself and by Aurel. And we've discussed it in the VEP meeting last week. And hopefully you're going towards at least an LGTM from this VEP, from the network SIG.
Thank you. Moving on to the last web. Aurel, do you want to talk about it?
Yes, sure. So this web is about creating an upgrade path for VMs using ordinal naming scheme. If you remember, prior to KubeVirt version 1, there was an ordinal naming scheme for secondary networks on the pod level, like net 1, net 2, net n. And KubeVirt 1.0, it was changed to a hashed naming scheme. But every VM that used the ordinal naming scheme retained it while it migrated, and thus while it was upgraded to a newer version. So in case there are any VMs existing from KubeVirt 0.59 and below, and probably there are such VMs that didn't perform a reboot, then we have VMs with this ordinal naming scheme. And the disadvantage of having them is one, the user cannot do a hot unplug on them, although this is not a very common use case. And the second thing, which is a disadvantage to us, is that we need to maintain both the hash naming scheme and the ordinal naming scheme, and we want to drop the ordinal naming scheme. So in order to do that, this PR suggests a migration path without rebooting the VM. It proposes to do so via mutation of the domain on the target, which is a mechanism that currently does not exist in KubeVirt, but exists on other virtualization platforms using libvirt. And this is how we will change it. Like the new Virt Launcher pod will have the hash naming scheme, and the domain will be changed from the ordinal naming scheme to the hash naming scheme, and everything should work.
Thank you. I took like a very cursory glance before, and I need to review it. I think we discussed it in the last network call as well. So this needs reviews.
Yes, it also needs a POC, so please don't do a thorough review prior to the POC being successful.
Hmm. Thank you. So I did not see any new issues. I'm skipping to the open PRs now. Okay, the first one. What is it? Oh, this is mine. So this is ready for review. I pushed a little change just before this call. So what it does, we have this multis annotation, this thingy, and so what we came to know is there might be third-party controllers or third-party software which can add new fields to the annotations already added by KubeVirt. And what KubeVirt does right now is when it does the reconciliation, it looks at this annotation, and if it's not what it calculates, it overwrites everything. So if you have a third party software that had added a new field which is not recognized by keyword, it will overwrite everything. And this is not something we want. So the changes I made are supposed to like look at the existing annotation, merge it with the one that keyword calculates, and well, write it. I have changed the unit tests from like last when we discussed. And yes, please take a look when you have some time.
By the way, have you received feedback from Fang from NVIDIA?
No, I need to ping him. Got, I think he asked us like if there is any update on this one, but I will ping him.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the next one.
Sure.
I remember we discussed it in the last call. I'm trying to see if anything changed after that. No, this one still needs a review.
Yes, I will review it, and we need another reviewer
Yeah, I
in
will
the
review
chat.
it as well.
Please CC both of us.
Yes.
Can you please remind me what this is about?
I'm trying to remember, sorry.
In
Of course.
general, there is some metadata that is passed from a Virt launcher into libvirt, and in some cases it fails because of the dummy interfaces that we insert into the domain in order to support a hot plug, but I haven't reviewed it thoroughly. I just glanced over it.
Yeah, it had something to do with aliases. We were not creating the aliases for the nicks that we, for the dummy nicks that we add, and
Uh-huh.
this either
Okay.
ignores the alias or adds the alias, something like that.
So is it a bug or what?
I think it started from a bug. Yeah, it started from a bug, but I don't see where it started from.
Yes, it's a downstream bug.
Mm-hmm.
We
Okay.
can link it later.
Okay, thank you.
CCS.
Can put both of us in the same line.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, GitHub is awesome.
All right, moving to the next one. Okay, this is a docs PR, and this had an LGTM from someone. Okay, this had an approval from Ram and needs one more. I think there were some
Okay.
comments left to address. Yes,
Can
Neil?
you show the header, please?
Mm-hmm.
Slight rewording. Okay. You can assign me to it.
Yep. Let me assign it to you.
Actually, this one already has an LGTM and it is
Also
waiting
approve.
on
Oh,
the
okay.
author, and Eddie will probably approve it because he already reviewed it.
Okay. I'll add
But
a note
reviewing
here.
it is always good.
I actually do want to review it. If it's in the network binding plugin area.
Yeah, it's a very small PR. Let me CC you.
Thank you.
All right, you CC'd. Next one is the patch from Lakshmi. I think Eddie reviewed it, and Oral, you wanted to review it, right? I saw your message on Slack.
Yes, I need to review it today, promised her. And we also need another reviewer, so please review it as well.
So is this the flickering IP?
No, this one is about environments which are a single stack IPv4 on which some tests fail because we compare the pod IP addresses to the VMI status IP addresses. And if the cluster is IPv4 single stack and the guest is dual stack, then the IP addresses reported are not equal because the guest will also report IPv6 addresses.
Again, say the last sentence again, because the guest.
The pod will have some IPv4 address, and the guest will report both the IPv4 and some IPv6 addresses.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Do you want to look at it? Should I tag you?
Sure.
Okay, tagging everyone. The last one.
Oh, allowed to use DRA.
This is just in Qt CI. It removes the DP and CNI, and then you can install the DRA. It's an ongoing
What is DP? What is DP?
device plugin.
Oh, okay.
It's a
So it removes the SIRV device plugin in CNI, and
then you can install the DRA driver. But it's an ongoing progress. It's not crucial to review it yet.
okay. So is that in the kind SRIV provider?
What again?
Is it in the kind SRIV
Yes.
provider?
Yes.
Okay,
It's just a flag, an
interesting.
optional flag so you won't deploy the DP and CNI.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Maybe the more important one for now, just a moment, I will send it. It's one on Qvert. Just a moment, this one. If you want, but
How
it's
come
not,
it's not in the list already?
again, please.
Why is it not in the list, Ananya? Do you know?
Yeah, I might have missed it.
Okay.
It's this one. It's not network.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's OS device. I'm not sure. It fixed a real bug. This one can be reviewed, but maybe not by SIG network because it touched the Go mode and another file of the
Hmm.
array. There was a
Okay,
little
so
bug. Hmm?
okay, so I think it's out of the scope of this discussion, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that was all the PRs. On Slack, we had 2 questions. I see Neer and Oral had already answered them. Is there anything more we should do? So this is the first one.
No, this one is double hyperconverged voltage or whatever. Oh yeah, no, I think it's we made it clear that it's not a KubeVirt problem, so I think this guy should follow with whereabouts.
And we had another one. And I think Oral provided a solution and they wanted to check back.
Yes.
Okay. And we had a panic from the mailing group. So they're using Windows and Ubuntu's VM with the EFI bootloader, and something is panicking in the Vert launcher pods. And I think
Why
we
is it
wanted
SIG
more now.
network?
I
This is
think
what I
Lubos, yeah,
sorry. This is what I tried to understand. And Shoval kindly told me what the ADDR2 line is. I didn't know what it means until a few days ago. Turns out that Go has this subcommand that tells you, okay, if you have a panic in some address, then it gives you the line in the code. So Lobo suspects that something in the network code is panicking. And if someone can please have a look at it, I'm very swamped at the moment. I think it would be something that we should look
Where did it originate? In the
in Virt
in the
Launch.
no, I mean the thread it's in the mailing list.
it's on the mailing list,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
But please
This
note
is from
that
a few weeks back. Sorry.
go ahead. Please.
No, please go ahead.
The others to line there might be not accurate. So I also talked about with Orel and Lubo. So don't take it with uh,
Grain of salt.
yeah.
Oh, I see that it's K3S.
This is what he runs, yeah, but maybe we can say that we don't support it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
By the way, K3S is compliant, It's basically compliant to Kubernetes. So if it did, it might be interesting, but we miss info. The others to line at the moment is not, you can't count in it. If we can give us more info about the panic, it would be great.
So maybe, Aldo, you want to just respond to this email and say that we need more information?
Yeah, he has
Or I
done it.
did already.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Oh, but do you understand the scenario on which it happens? Like I didn't understand from the mail.
I didn't go in details. I just saw that the line is ambiguous and the other line is ambiguous, and then I stopped.
Okay, is there anyone in this call that can own this thing at the moment?
We just need to ask for more information, I think, no?
Or try to figure out if Lobo's assumption is correct and try to go back from there and understand the code path that caused this segmentation fault or panic.
Domain object begin job internal.
Don't think that we need to debug it now. Just someone has to look at it, ask more questions, and go to the bottom of it.
And then say that we don't support K3S.
I didn't say so.
I said so.
All right, so whoever wants to look at it can look at it. I will try to look at it, but I might not be of very much help here.
Thank you, Aranya.
All right, we covered everything, and now to the open floor. Please go on, Benyat.
Okay, thank you. Another issue that I'm having with trying to make the VDPA network vending plugin work properly in KubeVirt is that VDPA devices, just as SRIUV devices, need to do DMA So the process running like Kimi, Lippert, blah blah blah, they will lock some memory. And the problem is that if we don't configure that before Lippert does try to configure it, Lippert will break and the Kimi process won't run at all. So there is some bit of beer launcher. That there is some code piece around there, like isolation detector or something like that, that actually does that memory lock limit configuration for SRIOB and other related stuff that need to do.
I just made some code changes in exactly this place. Okay.
Have
Yeah,
you?
go on. Please go on. Yes.
Yeah. So what I was thinking was just adding some extra network binding plugin registration parameter, just as you say, like there is already some like resource claims from the network binding plugin thing that allows you just to tell Kubernetes which overhead that network building plugin is supposed to have, which is great, but it's not exactly what we need for these devices that need to do DMA and lock some memory. Because we are not expecting to say Kubernetes that we are having some overhead, but letting some of the processes running inside the peer launcher pod to lock some memory. Whichever memory or whatever memory they need to lock. So what I was expecting to be able to do, I'm still working on the POC by the way, but was just adding some other. I can find the place, but I will need some time. Just adding some other configuration parameter to the network binding plugin API. So every time you register new network binding API, you can set like a ratio and an offset of memory that you could be locking relating to the guest memory. So then those memory lock limits can be configured properly as they are done in the SRUB side.
Why can't you read the memory from the domain and then calculate it and see if you want to update it in the plugin code?
Sorry, I think I'm missing something there.
No, sorry, I take it back. No, my idea was not good.
Okay, so there is a field in the API that allows you to request additional memory for the compute container of the Vert Launcher pod. And this memory overhead is also taken into account when Vert Launcher prepares the ground for Levert or QEMU before they lock the memory for the guest. Is that
I
something
know.
that could work for you?
I know, but the problem with that is that you are reducing the amount of guests that you can run in one node, since it also affects to the overall memory overhead or the resources that you are claiming for the beer launcher pod, which is not exactly what we want. So, the only thing we want to do is lock some memory, which could be like it's not locking memory, it's increasing the memory lock limit that a process can actually lock. That's the tricky part here. So if we would use the additional memory overhead thing that you're saying, if we could run, let's say, 10 VMs, theoretically, if we add some overhead to each of those VMs, we could finally only be able to run 5 of them in a node. Because it will affect the lock limit, like the memory lock limit, but it would also affect the resource claims of memory that are just annotated in the bird launcher pod.
Okay, so what exactly do you want? To have the same memory requests, but to lock more than we usually lock?
Sorry, could you make the question again, please?
Sure. We're on for past, if you know the past binding plugin, we've introduced a field that you can request for every VM using past. You can say, okay, the Vert launcher pods compute container will get this and that more memory. And then when libvirt tries to lock, or before libvirt tries to lock the memory that it needs, Vert handler calculates how much memory should be locked, and it takes into account this little overhead that we added. Isn't it good enough for you?
Yeah, but we also hit the same problem, which is that you're letting lock more memory to the process that is behind of bird launcher or whatever. But the problem is that you are able to run less VMs on the same node for that reason, because we are not expecting more overhead for being to like we are not expecting more memory overhead for binding a VDPA device to one guest, but we need to let lock some memory, just as it's done for SRIOV and other cases due to the
So you
DNA.
wanna you wanna affect the R limit, but you don't want to affect the resource requests.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty
Mhm.
much it.
By the way, for SRIOV, when you define a VM with SRIOV, then it requests, if I remember correctly, about 1 gig of additional memory for the Vert
Right.
launcher pod.
Yeah, that's due to how libvirt actually calculates the memory that it wants to lock, which is always like 1 gig offset, and then depending on the devices that you are actually putting there in the domain XML, it will multiply the amount of devices of one type per the guest memory. So it could be that you are actually setting the memlock limit to be greater than the host memory, but libvirt has some disclaimer actually about that, but it's how libvirt is actually doing at the moment, if I
Okay.
understand correctly.
What I would recommend is either to put it in the same web to like say, okay, this is a web for VDPA in general, or to create a dedicated web with the proposal to say, okay, I need this and that. I propose this and that APIs, and I cannot use the existing APIs because of 1, 2, 3.
With it, yeah, sure. Thank you. I'm working on the
Yeah, but
POC. Yeah, Neil. Sorry.
oh, so you have a proposed solution in mind? Oh,
I have something that I'm working on actually that could work. I need to actually write it. It's like a couple of lines that are missing, plus the tests. And when I have that, which I hope it's by the middle of this week, I will test it, see if it works or not according to what I expect. And based on that, I will open the PR and VP if applies.
sounds good.
It was just to, I just wanted to discuss with you if it was actually making a little bit of sense, or if it was like Benyat, just like forget about it. Like it's not something I would do, but yeah.
I sent here on the chat the previous design proposal that we had. It was actually implemented, but the design wasn't merged. So you can see what we did there, and maybe go over the discussion, and somewhere here there should be the implementation. Please let us know if it works for you, and if not, why not?
Okay, I will check. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone has any other items for the open floor? Okay, if not, thank you all for joining. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you, Ananya.
Thank you. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
take care. See ya.
Bye.